Alright, so we're going to go from gear walk mode to Batroid mode. Now I've already taken the liberty of kind of just straightening out the arms and legs to make this a little easier. A couple things here. Be aware of the backpack because you have to deal with it in a minute. There's some tension that holds all this together. You may want to kind of flip. There's a little peg here that kind of comes out of the back here. And it holds the backpack down when you're in gear walk mode, which is part of why it doesn't flop around. So, you know, there are no loose parts or pieces. It's very sturdy in all three modes. But when you're transforming it midway through the transformation, especially going from gear walk to Batroid, it feels a little wobbly because it's all being held on by one bar, which you'll see in just a minute here. So basically what you're going to do is down here in the bar, it's called, you know, there's a round part right in there, connecting the legs. Here where the vents meet, you're just going to on tabs that kind of lock in there. Come out fairly easy. And that just lets go. Now I'm going to flip that out so you can see there's a little rocker bar, a little holder for the rocker bar, so to speak. It just kind of comes out. And that's it. As you can see, it's on a swing bar. And from here, if you left the legs the way they are, they're going to be kind of in the way. So we're going to fix that right now. Hang on, let me... I'm probably going to have to rotate these back, but for now I'm just going to, again, you know, be mindful, this is kind of what I mean. At this point, this is where the toy starts feeling a little flaky, you know. I haven't really heard much about people breaking this very often. It does happen, though, so just be aware. I'm going to put those down there. I'm going to re-aim the camera here for you. So, at this point, we're pretty much looking here at the nose cone area. This is where it gets a little kind of freaky, and this is where it's kind of vague on the directions. So basically I'm going to, you know, much like all the traditional Valkyries, this door just kind of pops out. Now be mindful, you want to take this and just kind of keep it out of the way. There is a little peg in here as well. It's going to be a little hard, but right there, all it is a detail fin. It goes through the hatch. So when it's in jet mode, it's got that little, let me get back on camera, it's got the little nub sticking out. Purely an aesthetic. Be mindful of it, make sure you kind of put it in. So where it gets funky here is, it's the whole nose cone assembly. Again, it's all sort of pressure, oops, excuse me as I bump the camera, it's all sort of pressure, and you kind of work, you know, you kind of have to, basically it's three pieces that are holding it. You got the nose cone, you got these parts here kind of separate, so they get a little loose. Basically, I'm going to get in here, open that door, and much like every Valkyrie, if you've ever owned one, trying to get around so I can do this. This is a big toy, I apologize, I don't mean to keep popping off camera. There we go. Basically the trick is you just got to separate these guys. It's sort of on a hinge. It's a little scary, you know, it looks scarier than it really is. I wouldn't worry about it too much. So here's another nice detail. You know, in addition to the legs not only looking anime accurate without having to swap parts, removing them and then reattaching them to the nose cone, it also has a built-in heat shield. Usually heat shields were the type of item that you had to add on after you finished transforming it. And it's nice that they've actually included in here. Again, a little finicky, the little rail it's on. There we go. Just kind of get it out before the heat shield. Pull it down. That's all. Really. Kind of locks in there. So from here it gets kind of straightforward. Again, be mindful of the antenna on the head. Probably going to want to... Now here's where it gets a little funky. It's not very clear in the directions, but we'll straighten it out. You're going to end up having to rotate the head around. But so at this point, you can start looking at here on the underside. These are a little finicky, and they honestly, they're supposed to snap in while you're transforming it, but they don't always stay out. So at this point, let's kind of get it standing up. All that you're really doing is I'm just holding it this way to support its weight right now. So as you can see, you know, we've got that loosed. It's ready to kind of lock in there. So basically what happens is you're just going to bring it down. Oh wait, I almost forgot the most important part. There we go. Back into here. Here's what makes the legs look anime accurate. Here on the underside, got a little door that opens. And inside are these two little round nubs that you flip in. They basically fill the holes where the bar rests when it's in jet mode, so it gives it, you know, that nice stream, sleek look. So at this point, you're going to just focus on bringing the body together. Hang on here. I'm going to rest that in there, but I'm not going to lock him down yet. He still seems floppy at the moment, I know. But once you kind of get everything in its prospective spot where you need it, it's going to be a-okay. Before you lock it in, make sure these little side pieces here are out. Not dire, but nice nonetheless. Before I finish this up, I'm also going to rotate the head around, because what's happening is, you see, on the black part, there's a slight lip here that actually rests down in there, kind of locks in. So you got to return the head around, and voila. I don't know if you're an antenna forward or an antenna back kind of fan, but hey, you can do both. Alright, so I'm just going to get the arms out of the way here so I can access the... So as you see, transformation is not a boom, 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 you're done. Definitely a lot more going on. Making sure everything's lined up. I just don't want to force something if it's not ready. And voila, it just kind of clicks. Now from here, here's where... Here's a little tab hole for the peg, but honestly it never lines up for me. It's really small and they don't quite go in the way they're supposed to. But so at this point you can start tightening it up, bring your wings in. But before I get the leg down, basically I'm just going to lock this back up. Now here's a trick. This is something that's not very evident in the instructions, especially since I don't read Japanese. To make everything sit right, and it doesn't look like it at first, but in here there's a little, it's hard to see on this video, I know, but right above my fingernail is a little indent here. This whole door mechanism actually does push in a little bit, so again, I realize this may or may not show up in the video, but it's a little, it goes in further than it normally does in jet mode. Basically, backpack goes there. Put your little clip back on. Make sure you put your wings in. Hang on here. But what they do, and I think this is a really nice touch, the missile pods are also storage lockers. So inside I have hidden shield covers. So what happens is, usually when I'm in jet and airwalk mode, I will put the little side covers inside my missile pod and lock it up. Only downside to that is when you fly it around, of course, you'll hear a rattling in there. No, nothing's broken. Of course, when I go into Batroid mode and I'm going to put this aside, unless you wanted to display them on the wings, and I never really liked that myself, these do fit, again, in the gun pod. So the missile pods fit into each other, which I thought was indeed a very nice touch. So, these are a little easier to keep track of than these. So there you go. Pretty much little covers that just clip in. Not necessary. Some would say, let's part swapping, but the reality of them making a mechanism where the vents actually change would probably never happen in my lifetime. But I could be wrong. Alright, so there you go. Fully transformed as it should be. Oh, here. We'll even give you the gun. How about that little nub, little hole? And this will go right there. Voila. There we go. Properly transformed.